Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Tonight, we're learning new details about the Cuomo administration's alleged cover-up of COVID-19 nursing home deaths. Big Fox's Matt Kleindens joins us with the details of this latest blow for the New York governor.
Good evening. According to the New York Times, Governor Cuomo's senior aides worked for months to conceal nursing home data, months before the federal government asked for that information. A damning report from the New York Times alleges Governor Cuomo's aides worked for months to hide the extent of COVID-related deaths in New York's nursing homes. Aides clashed with health officials over a July report that included the number of nursing home deaths. At the time, the number was just over 9,000 deaths. However, that number was written out of the report. Aides involved with changing the report included top aide Melissa DeRosa, Linda Lanswell of the Department of Financial Services, and Jim Molotros, who is now the chancellor of SUNY. I reached out to SUNY to get a comment from Jim Molotros, but did not hear back. In response to the report, Beth Garvey, the special counsel to Governor Cuomo, released a statement. In it, she states DeRosa, Lanswell, and Molotros were involved in reviewing the report, but says none of them changed or altered any of the data. The state attorney general says the total number of nursing home deaths was undercounted by as much as 50%. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
More mass vaccination sites are opening as the nation's vaccine rollout ramps up. But health officials say to put spring break plans on hold even if you're vaccinated. Jonathan Seri has more.
The U.S. is averaging around 2 million vaccine shots per day, and state officials are looking for more ways to ramp up vaccinations. New York State will open 3 short-term mass vaccination sites today to distribute Johnson & Johnson's vaccine. Here in Georgia, 5 larger sites will open this month. California officials announcing yesterday they'll allocate 40% of doses to vulnerable communities.
Not only to do the right thing to communities that have been disproportionately impacted, but also to safely reopen our economy.
And the debate over wearing masks continues. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey extended her state's mask mandate into April to give businesses time to develop their own policies. West Virginia's governor says his state has no plans to lift mask requirements. Some health experts say until the U.S. reaches herd immunity, mitigation efforts should stay in place.
The public health measures that continue to work are the ones that we need to continue to use. That means wearing a face mask, washing your hands frequently.
States such as Texas and Mississippi are lifting mask mandates as spring break season is about to begin. Last year's trips were blamed for fueling a surge of cases at the start of the pandemic. Officials in Daytona Beach, Florida say Beach Patrol will be making sure everyone is socially distanced.
We do have people out there that will be reminding people and asking them to try to respect other people's space.
The CDC is advising people to delay their spring trips until next year, even if they've been fully vaccinated. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
A Steuben County Sheriff's deputy is on administrative leave following an investigation by the state police and county district attorney's office. Deputy Joseph Winters was investigated for inappropriate conduct while off duty. He was charged with second-degree criminal trespassing. The sheriff's office said in a statement they will conduct an administrative investigation into Winters' conduct. Winters was named the 2020 Steuben County Sheriff's Deputy of the Year. The Capitol Police want National Guard troops to stick around in D.C. for a little longer. They requested a 2-month extension, but there's very little information about why that request has been made, only that it's now under review at the Department of Defense. But it comes as the Department of Homeland Security and FBI are warning of threats posed by domestic extremists. Nearly 5,000 National Guard troops have been in D.C. since President Joe Biden's inauguration and were then scheduled to stay on through March 12th. Anti-Asian incidents are on the rise, sparking action on many fronts, from neighbors to lawmakers, to stop attacks against Asian Americans. Nadia Romero has a closer look at what's being done.
Taking action to stop hate. From coast to coast, a wave of action aimed at curbing anti-Asian hate incidents. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom approving $1.4 million in state funding to address the surge of violence. A chunk of that will go to initiatives like Stop AAPI Hate, which tracks these kinds of attacks.
We haven't seen this level, certainly not in my lifetime.
The Asian Advocacy Group says there have been nearly 3,000 incidents reported against Asians all across the country between March and December of last year.
Essential workers, frontline workers are being
verbally harassed and attacked and being blamed for COVID-19.
Nearly 44% of those incidents were reported in California. Several attacks on elderly Asian Americans have been captured on camera. In San Francisco, this 84-year-old immigrant from Thailand died after he was pushed while on a morning walk.
He never wake up again. I never see him again.
A 19-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder and elder abuse in the case. Then there's Denny Kim, U.S. Air Force veteran who was beat up in Los Angeles.
I remember when the assailants were beating my face. I remember them telling me that they wanted to kill me.
Also in Southern California, neighbors taking matters into their own hands, standing guard over this Asian American family's home after they were the target of harassment. Meanwhile, in New York, 61-year-old Filipino American Noel Quintana was attacked on a packed subway.
He slashed me from cheek to cheek with a box cutter.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing a new push to combat racially motivated crimes, ordering city agencies to meet with Asian community leaders, and launching a new website where people can report incidents. The surge also sparking action from other organizations condemning the violence.
African Americans and Asian Americans have had a long history of solidarity around civil rights issues in this country.
Hundreds gathered in the Bay Area to call for solidarity and honor the victims, with groups like Californians for Safety and Justice joining the effort to tackle the issues together.
We have to humanize each other, and I think that's what these rallies and opportunities for solidarity allow us to do. When one of us is attacked, especially when it's racially motivated, we are all less safe.
I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
The crisis at the border continues to escalate, with a spike in the number of unaccompanied children and border agents encountering more large groups trying to enter illegally. Casey Stiegel has more from Eagle Pass, Texas.
What some are calling a new humanitarian crisis is quickly unfolding at the southern border. Homeland Security still reporting a big uptick in migrant crossings, including a major spike in unaccompanied children, surging more than 60% compared to the same time last year. The migrant shelter system, already at 94% capacity, is expected to be full by the end of March. Fox News has confirmed the White House has dispatched a team to the border region to assess the situation.
One of our concerns is that there is an influx of kids at a rate and a pace is going to require us to make considerations about where we're going to safely house them.
Border agents are also encountering more large groupings of migrants trying to cross illegally. On Thursday, they apprehended a group of 43 in the Rio Grande Valley, followed by a group of more than 100 just hours later. Critics say the crossings are being prompted by a reversal of President Trump's hardline immigration policies.
Joe Biden has signaled to the world that he's not going to take border security seriously, and as a result, we're seeing more caravans.
The Biden administration is now running ads in Central America, discouraging people from coming to the U.S. But at the moment, the message is being largely ignored. According to the data, and with government resources running low, a number of private groups have stepped in to help.
Resources is always a struggle because no matter what happens, we're going to do whatever it takes to serve these families.
Democrats on Capitol Hill say they will not take up President Biden's immigration reform bill, meaning any policy changes down here would have to come in the form of executive actions. That's the latest from Eagle Pass, Texas, at the Texas-Mexico border. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
A former State Department aide with top secret level security clearance is facing federal charges in the Capitol riot. Frederico Klein was employed by the State Department at the time of the January insurrection. He also worked for the Trump campaign in 2016. Officials say images from the scene show Klein using a police riot shield to wedge open an entrance for rioters. He also appears to fight against police for several minutes. Co-workers at the State Department identified Klein after his picture was put on a law enforcement poster. He is the first Trump administration political appointee to be charged in the riot. This week's federal job report is out, and Wall Street is happy. The economy added 379,000 jobs last month. That's much more than economists expected. Investors responded with a jump in pre-market stock trading. February's unemployment rate also dropped slightly, down 6.2% from January's 6.3%. It was expected to remain flat. The unemployment rate reports how many people sought jobless benefits and does not reflect those who dropped out of the job market entirely. Still ahead tonight, right now the 3 COVID-19 vaccines on the U.S. market are for adults, but clinical trials are underway for younger children. More on when we may see vaccines available for the youngest Americans coming up.
here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Your Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. Hope you're having a great Friday so far. You definitely had to secure things today as those winds were whipping around. Right now, winds are still coming from the west-northwest at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Elmira reporting about 18 miles per hour, Corning around 12. And it's still going to be blustery tomorrow as the system that is bringing the chances of snow for tonight into tomorrow will continue into our area. So it's going to leave us with cold conditions throughout the day tomorrow. And of course, with the wind, it's going to make those temperatures feel about 10 degrees cooler. So as we make our way into your Saturday, it looks like in Elmira, we're going to start off with readings in the 20s, and then throughout the day, not a big warm up. In fact, highs will be in the low 30s, and then we drop back down into the 20s in the late afternoon into the evening hours. So not a big warm up during the day. It's going to be cloudy. There could be some snow showers early in the day, giving way to a little bit drier conditions. But notice our wind chills, which are in the lighter blue, those will be in the teens. So it's going to be quite cold tomorrow. It's going to be cold throughout the weekend. Let's take a look at our snow chances tonight into tomorrow. We are going to have not widespread snow showers, but there will be some scattered snow showers across our area, and that will remain through early tomorrow morning. A few flurries could be possible from 6 o'clock to about your lunchtime. It looks like maybe even a snow shower or two from Hornell to Bath, and then a few more snow showers during the day. So that will be the case throughout the weekend. It's going to feel very wintry, but if you're ready for more late spring-like weather, we're going to have it this coming week. In fact, we are expecting a warming trend from Monday through your Friday. As high pressure starts to move to the Atlantic, it will just push south winds toward our area, and so that will result in temperatures that will be about 15 to 20 degrees above normal. So you can look forward to that. Our average high right now is around 40 degrees, and we're going to be way above that by the end of next week. Here's a look at your forecast for tonight. It is going to be another blustery day with the possibility of a few snow showers. Hot lows will be around 21 degrees in Corning as well as in Elmira. It looks like teens for you in Perkinsville. Highs tomorrow below freezing. From Corning to Elmira, 29 degrees in Watkins Glen and 24 degrees in Perkinsville. So it's going to be quite cold. Remembering with that wind, it is going to feel like the lower teens. Moving into your Sunday, 31 degrees. From there, we jump up into the upper 40s, so we're going to be above normal by Monday. And then 58 degrees on Tuesday. 60s could be possible by the middle of the week, but the trade-off is there is the possibility of rain.
Right now, the 3 COVID-19 vaccines on the U.S. market are for adults and older teens. You have to be 18 to get the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines, and you have to be 16 to get the Pfizer vaccine. But clinical trials are underway for younger children. Mandy Gaither has more on when we may see vaccines available for the youngest Americans in today's Health Minute.
3 COVID-19 vaccines, millions of doses going into the arms of Americans. But these shots are not yet authorized for children.
Right now, we project that the clinical trials will give us information that by the time we get to the fall, that high school students will be able to be vaccinated.
Johnson & Johnson announced its plans to study their vaccine in adolescents, children who have a very low chance of becoming severely ill from COVID-19 were not part of the initial tests in the rapid approval process of the vaccines. The company's CEO says it will begin testing in people ages 12 to 18 and go down from there, and says Johnson & Johnson is likely to have a COVID-19 vaccine available for those under 18 by September. Both Pfizer and Moderna are already undergoing clinical trials studying their vaccines in adolescents. Moderna planning to study the vaccine in children 6 months to 11 years and what it called the near term. Pfizer says it's expecting to start vaccine studies in children ages 5 to 11 in the next couple of months.
Children who are elementary school, 6 to 12, that group of individuals, those individuals likely will not be able to get vaccinated until their trials are finished, which will likely be at the earliest the end of this year.
In a recent letter to the White House, the American Academy of Pediatrics is urging the Biden administration to prioritize vaccine authorization for youth, saying we cannot allow children to be an afterthought when they have shared so much burden throughout this pandemic. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Some schools are dealing with substitute teacher shortages because of the pandemic. Erin Miller has more on the growing need for substitute teachers at this time.
When teachers call out, substitutes step in. But the pandemic has caused Portsmouth Public Schools to change when substitutes are used.
They can certainly take off whatever time that they need, but if they do take off for less than 5 days, then a substitute will not be secured. Their colleagues will be helping to stand in that gap.
If that's longer than 5 days, then students will be given what's called a long-term substitute. However, getting qualified adults in front of students, even before the pandemic, has posed some challenges. Early last year, EdWeek Research Center surveyed more than 2,000 educators nationwide. They found that districts were only able to fill 54% of 250,000 teacher absences each day. In Portsmouth, Duran says,
we typically have around 350 qualified substitutes in our pool at any one time during the school year. At this point, we are utilizing approximately 60 of those substitutes in a long-term capacity.
With the return to in-person looming, PPS is planning for all scenarios.
Even with mitigation strategies, there may be times where someone will contract COVID. In that case, they may need to be out for the 14-day period or even longer.
Duran says that both teachers and subs have been given the opportunity to receive the vaccine.
Portsmouth Public Schools appreciates the hard work that our teachers have been doing during this unprecedented time, as well as the substitute teachers.
I'm Erin Miller for News 3.
With spring training underway, baseball is officially back. John Lawrenson introduces us to a 90-year-old Minnesota Twins fan who won't let the pandemic stop her from getting into the competitive spirit.
And we had a merry-go-round, and we had teeter-totters and swings, but what we do? We played ball.
Even before the Twins were a part of Minnesota, Carol Wagner had baseball in her blood. Where did you get all this stuff?
Most of them were given to me.
In Stearns County, she's known as the baseball lady. There's Twins memorabilia from years gone by, and in all shapes, sizes, and conditions.
It's kind of had its ups and downs and so on, but
much like the Twins, they've had their ups and downs.
That's true.
From her shoes to her light switches, from Harmon Killebrew to Joe Mauer, she covers her house like Byron Buxton covers center field.
To see the excitement in her face and how excited and how she knows all the Twins. She knows their stats, she knows where they came from.
Part of that knowledge comes from watching spring training games. Last year, Carol was in Fort Myers on her way to watch her third spring training game in a row when COVID hit.
And that afternoon, I think it was Baltimore, was on the bus on the way over to Fort Myers, and they got the warning to go back. They turned around and went back.
COVID kept her from making the trip this year, and now she's not entirely sure how she'll watch her favorite team. FSN, which carries Twins games, is currently only available through cable providers and some streaming services, like AT&T. Carol has Dish, so she's hoping something gets worked out. Or it might be back to listening on the radio, like she did in the 60s. At least her optimism over the years hasn't changed.
I was a fan through thick and thin. World Series all the way.
Need a good laugh? There's a tab for that. Netflix has launched a new feature for mobile devices called Fast Laughs. Fast Laughs lays out a list of comedy clips from the platform. The content can be found under the Fast Laughs tab. Right now, Fast Laughs is only available on iPhones, but Netflix hopes to make it available for Android users soon. Mirror, mirror on the wall. A New York City woman looks behind one and tells all. She used TikTok to tell millions of viewers the weird discovery she made behind her bathroom mirror. Jeannie Mose has the whole story.
It started with a weird draft in the bathroom.
Cold air blowing on me. You can see my hair blowing in the cold wind. And the air is coming from the mirror.
And thus began the saga. Look at what she found in her New York City apartment. It was freaky enough to send others scurrying to check their bathroom mirrors.
All right, we're good.
But Samantha Hartsoe wasn't. More than a hole.
Just the electrical. Oh, no. There's a room back there.
Samantha documented her discovery in a 4-part series on TikTok.
I have to go in.
As viewers warned her away.
Cover it up. Pretend you never saw it. Move out.
Don't go in there!
Ready?
Yes.
Part 3, we're going in, armed with a hammer. Though Samantha told us later.
Weirdly, I wasn't that scared.
Those who had seen the movie Candyman.
What's behind the mirror?
Were scared for her.
I have not seen Candyman. At this point, I feel like I should be in it.
In she went, or tried, as one of her roommates stood watch.
Oh, your hip's not gonna make it.
Straddling the inside of this wall right now.
Though worried the wall might break, she squeezed her way through.
She's actually in.
And once in, she found trash bags, boxes, pipes, not just a room.
It was a whole apartment.
And she lived to TikTok about it.
Made it out alive.
It turns out a woman in a Chicago apartment building was murdered in 1987 after burglars came in through the bathroom mirror. Apparently, some buildings have easy access for maintenance people to get to plumbing fixtures. Management at Samantha's building declined to comment, but Samantha called maintenance to come over and take a look. Some were reminded of that old Right Guard commercial.
Oh no.
Where the neighbor borrows the guy's deodorant, it stinks when your mirror is an open door. Ginny Mose, CNN.
Hi neighbor, how are you?
New York.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. The Thai Royal Navy and animal lovers worldwide are cheering on the heroism of Thai sailors who saved 4 cats who were trapped on a sinking boat. The vessel was on fire and had been abandoned. Its crew members were rescued, but the sailors were examining the capsized boat for oil spills and saw the cats on board. One of the sailors plunged into the water and swam roughly 50 feet to the boat. He rescued the felines, and images of the heartwarming moment exploded across social media. We love to see that. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend.